I'm on the remote Scottish island of Lewis in search of Donald Trump's ancestors. Some of his relatives, they were refugees.
Oh yes, yes.
Donald Trump's mother was categorically an economic migrant.
It's Donald Trump they don't like.
He's from Lewis, there should be support.
Yeah, well that doesn't seem to make too much of a difference with most people.
So he's leading an immoral life now.
From what I know of him, yes.
I've come to Lewis, where Trump's late mother was born, to find out what made him the man he is today. We've been sent here to a tiny fishing village. We may have found Donald Trump's ancestor, for whom he was named. Over here on this memorial, the name Donald Smith, Donald Trump's great-grandfather. He was a fisherman, and he died out at sea here in a storm in weather just like this. For Trump's ancestors, life here was harsh and dangerous. Back then, as today, people turned to religion. Trump's mother was no exception. In his book, Donald Trump says he gets religion from his mother. She got it from here on Lewis. It's a very religious island. We've been invited to a service. To the Free Church of Scotland, where hymns are in Gaelic.
It is a crisis. It's nothing less than a crisis. The way that our society is moving away from biblical values.
I think she would certainly have come from a very strong religious background. She would have come from a time when the church was very foundational and central to the community.
In this church, I'm realising the religious part of Trump's Lewis legacy may have been lost.
Let's say gambling, which has featured obviously very much in Donald's own business ventures, would have been very much against that.
This son of the island has strayed from the path that his mother laid for him.
Certainly from her background, yeah, I would say that his lifestyle nowadays would be regarded here, even today, as, in those respects, an immoral one. Immorality to us is not just a personal matter of sexual misconduct or whatever. It involves all kinds of behaviour.
But there is more to his mother's legacy than the church. Hard work. Historian Malcolm McLean traces his own ancestors here back 16 generations.
The Protestant work ethic would have been a big factor in her background. She would be very accustomed to hard work. Crofting, particularly at that time, was subsistence farming.
But it wasn't just the economy that was bad. The island was short of men. Not just those killed in the First World War, but a terrible tragedy struck right here on these rocks. New Year's Day, 1919. A ship carrying troops home from World War I runs aground, yards from home.
The aftermath of World War I was a time, generally speaking, in the islands, it's looked back on as a particularly bleak period.
Bleak because there were few men and no prospects. Trump's mother's elder sisters were leaving to the US for a better life. So Donald Trump's mother came from right here?
Yes, this croft.
Local genealogist Bill Lawson helps me understand what happened next.
Transylvania.
SS Transylvania.
Yeah, yes.
As soon as she was 18, Mary Ann MacLeod, Trump's mother, follows her siblings to America. So she's an economic migrant that we can see from the papers goes into domestic service.
Well, she's going for work.
For work.
She's going for work, there's no doubt about that.
She was categorically an economic migrant. Her whole generation were.
It's not the impression Trump gave islanders during his brief 2008 visit when he dropped into his mother's old house for a 2-minute visit with his cousins.
She met a great guy. I mean, she would have been back. She was not planning on being there permanently. She would have been back. She would have come back, but she met a really great guy, my father.
There is a perception that that Donald Trump's mother had done, clearly married extremely well, but stories would circulate about the property interests being questionable.
Malcolm McLean drops the bombshell. Islanders disliked the man she married. a property developer. Bill Lawson explains why. Half of Trump's ancestors were refugees, internally displaced, forced from their homes by Scottish property barons.
On the mother's side, there's the two lines, there's the Smiths and the Macaulays.
They were refugees, so
Yes.
a quarter of his ancestors there.
Yes, oh yes.
To this day in the Highlands and Islands have a deeply sceptical attitude towards landlordism. It has a very negative history in this part of the world.
On this, Trump appears to have utterly abandoned his Lewis roots. This is where Donald Trump came to meet his relatives. I'm going in to see if they'll talk to me. Surely they'll be able to explain. Hi there. Hi, Mr. Murray. Sorry, can you turn the camera off, please, guys? So what it's telling me is his politely declining making any comment, but you know what you don't see around here is any sign of support for Donald Trump as president. No indication this son of Lewis is being celebrated. I'm not giving up yet. There must be more the Donald inherited here than just his name. I've managed to find someone who likes Donald Trump and isn't afraid to say it. I'm on my way to meet him right now. Derek McKenzie started an Isle of Lewis Supports Trump for President Facebook page.
There's an expression that you hear, and Lewis straight talking.
Lewis straight talking?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's a kind of honesty. This sort of not being too concerned about what people think. You know, they will give it to you between the eyes.
Like Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Lewis, it seems, did give Trump more than just his DNA. But this humble isle had so much more to offer. As my journey comes to an end, a fresh view of Trump becomes clear. His ancestors gave him a strong Presbyterian work ethic. He has it in spades. They survived the island's harsh conditions by helping each other. A spirit of cooperation. People here today are still waiting to see him embrace. Nick Robertson, CNN, the Isle of Lewis, Scotland.